North Idaho College proudly presents NIC Today, an informational news magazine that highlights the people, programs, and campus life at North Idaho College and the surrounding community. And now, your host and moderator, President of North Idaho College, Dr. Joe Dunlap.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to NIC Today, the program that brings you insight into the people and programs of North Idaho College. Today we have some very special guests with us that have worked over the years with North Idaho College, and we have from University of Idaho the Executive Director for the Coeur d'Alene campus, Dr. Charles Buck. Welcome today, Charles.
Hey, Joe. Thanks.
And then we have the Interim Campus Director for Lewis Clark State College, Rocky Owens. So Rocky, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have both of you here today. And then, as always, we have Mark Browning, our Vice President for Marketing and Governmental Relations. So Mark, glad to have you here again as well.
Pleasure as always. Thanks.
Well, what I'd like to talk about today is a little bit about the uniqueness of the relationship between the universities and the college and the assets that Coeur d'Alene has that provides really unique opportunities for our students. And so, Charles, why don't you talk a little bit about University of Idaho's presence here in Coeur d'Alene, and then Rocky, will ask you the same.
Yeah, sure. Happy to, Joe. So I've been with the University of Idaho here for a couple of years, and one of the reasons that I accepted this job and came here was the really special relationship that the university has with North Idaho College. This is a college town, and you guys are doing a great job of presenting and providing the information about this college town. But I think importantly, it's also a university town. Mm-hmm. And what that says to me is that we can offer a very broad spectrum of educational opportunities that are not confined to the classroom, that include extensive outreach opportunities to engage different demographics in the community, not the traditional college-age kids, but in addition to the traditional college-age kids. The university, of course, has a research mission, so we have great opportunity to involve the community in various research projects that are relevant, like water quality, for example, working with the city and the wastewater treatment plant, and the opportunity to engage in an active and productive collaboration with other institutions. Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about that in higher ed. We do it here. I mean, the collaborations are real. We work together with LCSC. We work together with NIC. We offer bachelor's programs here in Coeur d'Alene. Mm-hmm. We can't do that without NIC because they carry the responsibility for the lower division courses for all of our programs here. And that enables us to have a broader swath of programs that we can offer more here, more diversity, everything from natural resources to data analytics to teacher education, etc. So I've been in a lot of institutions, a lot of universities, and the real collaboration is hard to come by. And we have it here, and we're even building more collaboration with the team that's at the table here. So I'm excited about being here, and I think the opportunity to turn this into, to have people think about Coeur d'Alene as a college university town first is really a great challenge.
Well, and I think that's a great perspective. Now, Rocky, how long has LCSC been here in Coeur d'Alene, and can you talk a little bit about the mission of LCSC?
Sure. Thanks, President Dunlap. It's good to be here. Lewis Clark State College, it's been here in Coeur d'Alene since 1982. I think you were at a celebration earlier last fall where we marked the 30th anniversary of Lewis Clark State College in Coeur d'Alene. And we are, like Charles, we are very happy to be here and a partner with NIC and the University of Idaho. Lewis Clark State College, we've actually been offering here for the past several years 16 degree programs. We focus exclusively on undergraduate programs, so our mission as a four-year school is to focus more on the bachelor degree preparation. Clearly, probably from the perspective of what we do here in Coeur d'Alene, our strong programs that we have a real strong presence in Kootenai County and Coeur d'Alene are our business administration with accounting focus, nursing. We have a PACE education program. Social work is a big branch of what we do up here in Coeur d'Alene as well. I think we are working very well to connect those NIC students who are looking to move beyond North Idaho College into a 4-year setting and get a degree, and giving those students, especially those students who are place bound, an opportunity to go beyond NIC. And I think that's helping strengthen not only LCSC and U of I, but also NIC from the perspective of keeping students here in this beautiful community. And so we're very happy that we can celebrate 30 years here, and we do partner with the University of Idaho. I think you're going to see even more opportunities for partnership. Charles, Dr. Buck, and I talk a lot about ways that we can work together to strengthen what we're doing up here, and so I think we are just at the beginning of our partnership.
Well, thanks, Rocky. And now, Charles, if an individual went through NIC and received an associate's degree and then maybe went to Lewis Clark State and received a bachelor's degree, what kind of opportunities are available beyond a bachelor's degree for students who may want to achieve some graduate level education?
Yeah, thanks for asking about graduate education, because that's an important component of what the university can provide here. I mentioned briefly our research mission, and of course for many graduate training opportunities, one needs to include an active research component to establish that expertise that marks a master's degree holder or a Ph.D. holder. This spring we graduated 10 doctoral students, 10 doctorates that were achieved here in Coeur d'Alene.
Wow.
You know, a lot of people don't know that's even possible. Mm-hmm. But you know, there's an important niche that needs to be filled here for graduate education. You know, very often, you know, someone in the workforce already is looking for an opportunity to move up. They may have their bachelor's. They find that if they don't achieve more education, they can't move up. They can't move into middle or higher management, for example. And so the University of Idaho can provide an opportunity to do that here in Coeur d'Alene and to enable that academic growth. Mm-hmm. We have our Executive Masters of Business Administration, which is our only MBA program at the University of Idaho, and it's delivered exclusively in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That's a cohort model where working executives take time off from their job 2 days a month. They're here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday twice a month for a 20-month program, and they come out with an executive MBA. And that cohort model also establishes a tremendous network for these working professionals. The students that they're together with end up being important business partners. They end up making a lot of business-to-business connections. And we're drawing not just from Coeur d'Alene, but from the region and even from Portland, from the Tri-Cities, from the Seattle area, et cetera. So EMBA is a great example of a relevant graduate program for working executives. We're hoping to expand these graduate opportunities beyond EMBA, beyond ed leadership and teacher continuing education. We do a lot of training at the doctoral and master's level for principals, superintendents, teachers who want to move up in administration. We're looking toward graduate programs now in computer sciences and data analytics, for example, is one that we're looking to launch soon. And also in the natural sciences, chemistry, biology. These STEM areas are where a lot of the jobs are going to be and where we're moving as an economy and as a society. Mm-hmm. And the university can take the preparation from NIC, from LCSC, and well-prepared students and achieve that graduate degree. A lot of NIC faculty, in fact, are either working on or have completed their graduate degrees right here in Coeur d'Alene to enable them to advance. So, you know, that's a good indication of the partnership.
But what a great opportunity for members and citizens within this community to be able to go from an AA degree all the way through a doctorate degree.
Yeah.
And oftentimes Coeur d'Alene is looked at as a tourist town, but based on what Rocky and Charles have described, Coeur d'Alene really is a university town. So Rocky, I know you want to have some other comments there.
Yeah, I just listening to Charles here talk about this, and one thing that I've said in this community, it is wonderful now to think that you can go from kindergarten to Ph.D. in Coeur d'Alene, right up here in Coeur d'Alene. And just as a side note, I remember growing up in this wonderful community and thinking to myself, this is becoming a major populous zone of North Idaho, and there was NIC, which did not at that time offer anything beyond the associate's degree level, and there were very limited offerings with Lewis Clark State College and with University of Idaho. But as we've expanded, it's no longer this idea that students necessarily have to leave this area. If they want to stay here, they can do that. And that's a wonderful opportunity for students to stay here in Coeur d'Alene and continue their education. I would just make one other point that makes this collaboration really rich between all of us, is that especially from the perspective of University of Idaho and Lewis Clark State College, we do everything we can to not duplicate our programs, meaning that we try to, University of Idaho clearly has their areas of specialty, LC has areas where we work, and we try not to duplicate programs. So that relationship is very strong, and that keeps us both competitive in terms of bringing new programs here, but it helps us not oversaturate this area with too many programs.
Yeah, wonderful.
That's really the key, because when you look at higher education, really what is our purpose? And it is to educate the citizenry, but it's also to prepare students as they come through to find positions where they can utilize their education and then earn a substantial enough living that they're able to stay. You're a good example of that. You were student body president of the Associated Students here at NIC, and through that education advanced on to LC, and now you're here. You were able to stay in this community because of your education.
Yeah.
One of the things that I find really unique about this entire relationship between the institutions here is it's the three primary resident institutions, but there's also a presence here with Boise State University and Idaho State University. It's the only place in the state where that relationship exists to this degree, where it's both a physical presence and a collaborative presence with programs. You don't find that anywhere else in the state. It really, and I'd love to hear both of your thoughts, especially you, Charles, as you've been at some other institutions. How do we go and take this and help others find this synergy, I guess, if you will, to really get the good work and moving forward? What are the barriers to being able to export this great relationship that we have to other areas of the state?
Yeah, well, I think that's a really important component or a point for this state in particular. So one could argue that for a state of our size, or really for a state of our population, that there's too much higher ed, too many different institutions.
We're structured
the geography
invertedly.
really requires that we have, this place-based opportunity. So it's important for all of the organizations to work together. And while we don't necessarily see eye to eye with other organizations, some of which you happen to name, on the playing field, we do see eye to eye on the opportunity to work together statewide. And that's really critical. There are strengths that are brought by that institution in Boise and by Idaho State University. And we need to understand how to capitalize on those strengths, not to compete, and where we need to cooperate in local areas. I think what I see here as a relative newcomer is that NIC, LCSC, and U of I are really modeling that for the state. We have effective working relationships. Our facility here, the Harbor Center, houses Boise State University, LCSC, and U of I for the programs that we deliver here. And there is no competition there. So I think that's an important leadership opportunity for us in Coeur d'Alene to say, hey, we can work together, we can model that, and we can learn from the other institutions, but we're also going to help teach. We're going to show how we can take best advantage of the state dollars that come in, multiply those with federal grants, with cooperation, and turn out a synergistic product that's better than the sum of its parts. I think that's what we're about here. NIC has a great opportunity to produce 2-year degrees, to produce associates. They do a fantastic job. Our instructors in Moscow can't say enough about how well prepared NIC students are for the programs in Moscow.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. But we need to now figure out, how do we take that excellence and move it to the next level at the college and university level? How do we get those bachelor degrees that's really where the job growth has come with the recovering economy.
Right.
It's bachelor's degrees. So we need to move towards that.
Well, in terms of taking it to the next level, we serve the 5 northern counties in Idaho. And so I know both of your institutions are involved outside of the local Coeur d'Alene area in other initiatives. And so could you talk a little bit about what you're doing outside of the Coeur d'Alene area that serves the northern 5 counties? And then maybe what some initiatives you're considering in terms of future planning. So, Rocky, why don't you jump in there?
So, Lewis Clark State College, we kind of have our home base in Lewiston, Idaho, and so in terms of Nez Perce County, we have a lot of outreach to the Grangeville and Orfino areas with smaller outreach centers, and they're not fully autonomous functioning centers as we have here in Coeur d'Alene. The Lewis Clark State College Center in Coeur d'Alene is really the fully autonomous center outside of the LC Valley. And if you look from the perspective of strategic planning for Lewis Clark State College, that's where we're putting pretty much all of our investments at this time, is trying to make this area grow. And as Dr. Buck was mentioning, we have lots of opportunities to partner and see those areas grow in Coeur d'Alene. However, I think it's important to note too that we have become excited to watch NIC expand into the northern counties of Idaho boundary and Bonner counties. We know that NIC has a growing presence in Sandpoint, for example, and there's the new NIC Sandpoint Center, which was just dedicated last September or August. And what a beautiful, beautiful facility that is, and the fact that NIC offers or is in the process of you can tell me more on that probably than I do in terms of the current CFNS, but I think NIC is ready to offer associate's degrees up there or getting close to it, and we want to be in a position with the University of Idaho to help those students carry on with bachelor's degrees in Sandpoint. And so we see it as an institution. One of our missions is to expand what we do here in Coeur d'Alene to Sandpoint. And so we are going to be stepping up our presence in Sandpoint with more personnel and staff on site at the center. We're going to be offering courses there beginning this fall 2013, and we are going to be sending advisors there as well. And this may even be a model of which from LCSC that we do this in partnership with the University of Idaho in terms of advising and other opportunities. But we probably, from a Northern Idaho perspective, see Sandpoint is probably the most likely place to grow our programs here in North Idaho.
Charles, what about University of Idaho?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. And just to follow up on Rocky's point about Sandpoint, Mark and I have been involved with a project in Bonner and Boundary counties to address the countywide priorities there. How can those counties move forward? And the number one priority that's emerged from a year-long process of identifying the county priorities is higher educational attainment. And I think that's not a big surprise for anyone, but it really underscores what Rocky was just discussing. And what I alluded to before, that more preparation and more education are required for today's jobs and for keeping citizens gainfully employed in the new economy here in Idaho. So that kind of brings me to another point that I wanted to make, and that is engaging with the economy and with local businesses in the region. I think this is one of the reasons that we can identify the opportunity to develop here in the Coeur d'Alene area in North Idaho. There's a big population area here compared to Lewiston, compared to Moscow. Yeah. And if we can reach out and engage the industry base here and understand what they need in terms of employees, in terms of expertise, then we can directly impact the growth of industry. That's going to lead to more jobs, more training opportunities, et cetera. You guys have done a fantastic job in the aeronautics industry, for example, speaking to that growing industry here in North Idaho, understanding what are the needs for a workforce, going out and getting a multi-million-dollar grant to serve those needs and to develop training programs that are going to serve that industry. So we can see how that's going to grow now as a result of that partnership with industry. We have our Post Falls facility, our business incubator facility, the University of Idaho Research Park in Post Falls, that's really dedicated to promoting business development. It's focused on startup businesses and trying to nurture and nourish startups, provide them with the resources of the university. They're not insignificant. Our fellow citizens, all of us, contribute to tremendous resources at the university in terms of equipment and expertise at our colleges and universities. We need to make that available to entrepreneurs and to companies so that they can they have that resource at their call. They can say, hey, we need somebody who knows about process design. You know, I can't hire somebody to do process design, but let's find somebody at the university that can work with us to do that. And so that's part of what we're trying to do in engaging with the industries here, and I think that's true of all the organizations, all the institutions here. We need to understand what you guys need in the corporate world, and that's the responsibility of the university and colleges to then meet those needs. Yeah. So having a facility like the research park and reaching out to our corporate partners is going to be an important part of university and higher ed growth in the region. But I think the other side of that coin is equally important, that industry and the economy is going to grow in our region because of the involvement of universities and colleges.
Yeah, and just to follow up on a comment that Rocky had made, there is a huge thirst for education in the northern counties. And just by way of example, when we began to move into the new center in Sandpoint, it became apparent that there was no science lab, which meant students would still have to come to Coeur d'Alene to get their science lab requirements done. So we set about to raise some funds from the Sandpoint area to put in place a science lab so that students could complete their entire AA degree without ever having to leave Sandpoint. And within 2 months, the community raised $135,000 to put in that science lab. So beginning in the fall, students will never have to leave Sandpoint for the AA degree. And so there's huge synergy and interest in attracting not just NIC, but the universities to participate in those outreach areas as well. Mark?
You know, one of the things from that I see is that the community is, especially here in North Idaho and Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, Bonners and the Silver Valley, they're really starting to realize the potential that higher education can have in terms of an impact on their economy. And back to your comment, Charles, I think higher ed, we're starting to realize that approaches that maybe we've traditionally done over the last 30 or 40 years, we have to tweak our understanding and our approach as well. And we absolutely have to partner with business and industry because those are the folks who hire our graduates. And if we don't have a graduate who's trained to help them, we're all going away. And so we're in this together. And I think we get that here in North Idaho. And I'm hoping that the rest of the state, not that they don't have it, but that they can see to the degree that it's working here, where the institutions work together and now we have an increased level of cooperation with business and industry, that's really how we grow our state's economy and the region's economy. And that's how we're all going to survive. So I love it. I think so.
I think it's important too, Mark, just from the perspective of attracting new innovation and business to this community. If you think about it from that perspective, I think all of us as higher ed administrators get that higher education is essential for the 21st century, but it's also essential to help us attract new business and innovation to this area as well. So those partnerships are very strong for that too.
Yeah, when a business looks to relocate, what are they looking for?
Exactly.
Access to healthcare and education for their employees and the people that they will bring with them and that they'll hire. And that's what, if the employees are happy, they work harder, they're more efficient, the product gets better. So.
Well, also now that the higher education campus infrastructure has been put in place, one need that has emerged is a classroom building that all three of us could collaborate on and utilize, that would also potentially house a centralized student services operation so that there wouldn't be the redundancy of services. It would provide more of an economy of scale. And so I know that's a project that is near and dear to all three of us, and that over the next several years we'll be working on to try and put in place. Mark, any final comments?
You know, a lot of plates are spinning in the air here in Coeur d'Alene, but they're all good. It's very positive, and I think the leadership of these three institutions going forward, it's a great example, and it helps keep us all motivated on what the ultimate objective is, and that's to help the next generation make this an even better place to live.
Yeah, it is a very unique place to live in a beautiful setting and a unique opportunity with the two universities that are here with us. And so I'd like to thank Dr. Charles Buck from University of Idaho and Rocky Owens from Lewis Clark State College for being with us here today. And I want to thank all of you on Channel 19 for viewing NIC Today to update yourself on some of the things that are happening. And so thanks very much for being here today.
Thanks, Joe.